The wealthy are feeling the pinch. The Fed's Jerome Powell is displeased with the progress, and this is with regards to inflation. And the CyberWars intensify. This is current events, April 16th, 2024. Welcome to the Foundation. I am Sot L, Seeker of Truth L, Speaker of Truth L. And let's jump into these current events. Yes, indeed, I'm back. No, I was gone for a while. It was only a week, y'all. It was like a week and a half or something. But make sure you check out welcometothefoundation.com. Sign up for the email list. We're currently, I'm working on moving from one email subscriber to the other, or company or whatever you talk about, right? So we're making that move, but still, you sign up for the email list. We're going to get you squared away, sorted, taken care of. We're not going to lose you. So at the minimum, sign up for the email list. Por favor. That's please in Spanish. S'il vous plaît. That's pretty sure that's please in French. Either way, you can check out the website if you want to. That's up to you. But yeah, email list. We love you. We appreciate it. Link in the description. We have the most comprehensive trustee training available. If you're ever been thinking about, setting up a private trust, common law trust, Massachusetts trust, whatever. A lot of gurus out here that, they'll take your money and then leave you stranded. This is a comprehensive course from A to Z and beyond. And I'm being serious with regards to, what is a private structure, what law governs private structures, the interaction between private and public, what is known as statutory law, setting up bank accounts, titling property, proper administration, multi-generational wealth. Lots of benefits for trust, legal benefits. We don't play that game. Link in the description if you have an interest. If you have any questions, email support at welcometothefoundation.com. We look forward to serving you and your family. Speaking of service, how to start a business. If you've ever thought about starting a business, the little one in you had a dream, and maybe, what we're doing today isn't what we thought we would be when we were little. And maybe that has something to do with opening a business. So if you ever thought about it, if you were on the fence about it, it's too expensive, you can't do it, so on and so forth, this course is for you. There is a link in the description. $99.99. Learn at your own pace. Take your time. Start your own business. As I said, link in the description for you to sign up. Last but not least, we have the Foundation magazine. I believe it's luxurious. I believe that you will believe it's luxurious. We have a digital subscription. We have a print edition subscription. Link in the description if you would like to sign up for the Foundation magazine. Let's move it forward. Let's keep it pushing. CNBC Fed Chair Powell says there has been a lack of further progress this year on inflation. What does that mean? I'm just going to tell you what it means. You think they're dropping interest rates? Not sure. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell said Tuesday that the U.S. economy, while otherwise strong, has not seen inflation come back to the central bank's goal, which is 2%, y'all, pointing to further unlikelihood that interest rate cuts are in the offing? Y'all tell me what is this, y'all? Further rate cuts are in the offing anytime soon? Offing? It's something, maybe I don't know what that, I don't know everything. Maybe that's a word I'm not familiar with. Speaking to a policy forum focused on U.S.-Canada economic relations, Powell said that while inflation continues to make its way lower, it hasn't moved quickly enough, and the current state of policy should remain intact, which means not dropping rates, y'all. Quote, more recent data shows solid growth and continued strength in the labor market, but also a lack of further progress so far this year on returning to our 2% inflation goal, end quote. This is Fed Chief Powell during the panel talk. We're dealing with inflation, the rise or the increased requirement of dollars to purchase the same goods and services. We're all feeling it at this point. I was waxing poetic a few years ago, and here we are. But the bottom line is it's not going away anytime soon. And what I believe is that it's going to get worse before it gets better. U.S. home building retreats, manufacturing turning the corner. This is Reuters via Microsoft blah blah. So U.S. single-family home building tumbled in March, and while new construction remains underpinned by a severe shortage of previously owned houses for sale, a resurgence in mortgage rates is pushing potential buyers to the sidelines. Resurgence because, the market was anticipating that there was going to be rate cuts, I think as soon as this month, possibly as soon as last month. It hasn't happened. Due to the fact that it hasn't happened, banks have recalibrated their rates in anticipation of, the federal funds rate remaining where it is. And that's not good for home purchases. The report from the Commerce Department today also showed permits for future construction of single-family houses fell to a 5-month low. Residential investment rebounded in the second half of 2023 after contracting for 9 straight quarters, the longest such stretch since the housing market collapsed in 2006. But the recovery appears to be losing steam. Quote, the housing recovery has stalled for now as home builder expectations of sharply lower interest rates this year have faded. One thing is for certain, and that is home prices are going to be on an upward, more unaffordable trend without more supply. This is Christopher Rupke, chief economist at FWD Bonds. Single-family housing starts, which account for the bulk of home building, dropped 12.4% to a seasonally adjusted annual rate of 1.022 million units last month. The Commerce Department Census Bureau said data for February was revised higher to show single-family starts rebounding to a rate of 1.167 million units instead of the previously reported 1.12 million units. Needless to say, y'all, it's not looking good. Oh, the wealthy are feeling it. LVMH sales growth slips on luxury spending slowdown. This is not just in America. And, this is the first time me personally, I'm seeing any hints towards wealthy or, people who maybe think they're wealthy, feeling the pinch. LVMH, Louis Vuitton. Sales slowed in the first quarter as rising prices prompted more shoppers who aspire to own its luxury labels to hold back on splashing out thousands of dollars on handbags and other accessories. Slower sales growth of 3% reflected comparisons with the same quarter in 2023, when sales were boosted by the lifting of restrictions and curbs in Louis Vuitton's key market of mainland China, and comes amid worries about a prolonged global slowdown which has knocked shares in luxury companies over the past year. The world's largest luxury group owner of Louis Vuitton, Tiffany & Company, and Bulgari, I ain't into this stuff, man, so I don't know how to pronounce it, said on Tuesday that sales for the quarter ending in March rose 3% on an organic basis to 20.69 billion euros. This is matching analysts' expectation. On a reported basis, sales at the group were down 2%, largely due to currency effects. Louis Vuitton MH, which is Europe's second largest listed company and worth nearly 400 billion euros, is the first luxury goods maker to report quarterly earnings, setting the tone as worries grow about demand in China, the world's number 2 economy. Okay, so maybe that's why the first time. This is the first company that's, reported. But this doesn't bode well for those people's, stocks pull back from record highs. Market fear signals flashing red. Several key indicators of fear in the market are flashing warning signs to investors. The CBOE Volatility Index, also known as the fear gauge, reached its highest level since October, nearing the key level of 20. That indicates increased market instability. CNN's Fear and Greed Index has shifted into fear territory after being in the greed range just a month ago. Additionally, the Panic Index from Goldman Sachs has climbed to levels not seen since early 2023, indicating growing nervousness among market participants. But hey, what do you think that is? Bet you it's about the, let me just keep reading. This increase in fear comes amidst concerns about interest rates remaining higher. I knew it. For longer, and escalating conflict in the Middle East. Hey, what did I say? And it's not just them. Jamie Dimon warns that inflation wars and Fed policy pose major threats ahead. JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon warned last week, Friday, that multiple challenges, primarily inflation and war, threaten an otherwise positive economic backdrop. Quote, many economic indicators continue to be favorable. However, looking ahead, we remain alert to a number of significant uncertain forces. This is the head of the largest U.S. bank by assets said in an announcing first quarter earnings results. An unsettling global landscape, including terrible wars and violence, is one of such factors introducing uncertainty into both JP Morgan's business and the broader economy, Dimon said. Additionally, he noted, quote, persistent inflationary pressures which may likely continue, end quote. Dimon also noted the Federal Reserve's efforts to draw down the assets in its holdings on its $7.5 trillion balance sheet. Quote, we have never truly experienced the full effect of quantitative tightening on this scale, end quote, Dimon said. The latter comment references the nickname given to a process the Fed is employing to reduce the level of treasuries and mortgage-backed securities it is holding. The central bank is allowing up to $95 billion in proceeds from maturing bonds to roll off each month rather than reinvesting them, resulting in a $1.5 trillion contraction in holdings since June 2022. The program is part of the Fed's efforts to tighten financial conditions in hopes of alleviating inflationary pressures. I don't know if that's working. It sounds like they just, sounds like they're cashing in or maybe they're cashing out. Iran is in for the long haul, CNBC, with oil tanker hijacks, expert says. As U.S. considers more sanctions, these oil tanker hijacks, it affects us because as the price of petroleum, gasoline, raw crude oil rises, the prices of everything rises because everything needs petrol, gasoline, diesel fuel, or jet fuel, which is a product of crude oil, to ship goods across the globe. Player? The container ship MSC Aries, seized by Iran over the weekend, marked at least the sixth vessel hijacked by Iran and its proxies in response to the Israel-Gaza war, and it's adding to the challengings to long-standing freedom of navigation principles that maritime shipping relies on. Before this weekend's tanker seizure, the last vessel Iran hijacked was the St. Nicholas on January 1st. According to the U.S. Naval Forces Central Command, that brought the total number of vessels being held to 5 and over 90 crew members hostage. Previous to that, the Iranian-backed Houthis hijacked the Galaxy Leader on November 19th. The latest development has shipping and energy experts bracing for a long-term timeline of uncertainty. Quote, Iran is in for the long haul, end quote. This is Samir Madini, co-founder of TankerTrackers.com, an independent online service that tracks and reports crude oil shipments in several geographical and geopolitical points of interest. It's not good, y'all. It's not looking good. I'm not trying to be one of them clickbait, the sky is falling type dudes, but you know what I mean? CNBC, why $100,000 of income no longer buys the American dream in most places. The American dream, which for many people involves some combination of owning a home, getting married, having children, and making enough after expenses to save for retirement and spend on leisure, is becoming increasingly expensive. Quote, the benchmark of a six-figure salary used to be the gold standard income. It represented the tipping point of finally earning a disposable income and building savings and spending based on your wants, not just your needs. This is clinical psychologist Sabrina Romanoff, who was speaking to CNBC. More than half, or 52% of Americans, say they would need at least $100,000 a year to feel financially comfortable, with 26% saying they would need a salary in a range of $100,000 to $149,000 per year, according to a 2023 CNBC Your Money survey conducted by SurveyMonkey. Unfortunately, what has happened is that wages haven't kept up with the cost of living, or what is also known as inflation, by and large for the last 50 years or so. This is Elise Gould, senior economist at Economic Policy Institute, who went on to say, quote, "It becomes increasingly hard for many families to be able to attain that sort of middle-class lifestyle, that American dream," end quote. Consumers using the popular 50-30-20 budget guideline aim to spend 50% of their income on essential expenses, with another 30% for discretionary spending and the remaining 20% for savings. A new report for geo-banking rates used the framework to analyze how much money a family of 2 adults and 2 children would need in each state to own a home, car, and pet. The report tallied estimated annual essential expenses for such a family and then doubled that figure. Using that framework, geo-banking rates found that all 50 states require more than $100,000 annual income, according to the report, with 38 states needing more than $140,000. And then you look at these states, so you got California, 200,000 plus, Hawaii, same thing, New Jersey, New Hampshire, and then what is that? Massachusetts. Y'all need over $200,000 to live the American dream. You got Oregon, Nevada, Arizona, Utah, Colorado, Montana, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Virginia, New York, Vermont, Maine, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Delaware, and Maryland. You need $160,000 to $200,000. And the list goes on and on, man. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. And you know what's even crazier? That it's being admitted on, national, and of course this is international as well, but it's being spoken of, admitted that hey, CNBC, Doc Martens shares plunged 30% to all-time low, trading briefly halted on weak outlook. That's what? Y'all know what Doc Martens? Doc Martens, they're not sneakers, man. What are they? They like sandals, right? And then they got boots. They got, the boots, man. They got the boots. Shares of Doc Martens, or Dr. Martens, plunged 30% today to hit a record low after the shoemaker flagged a challenging 2025 outlook on the back of weaker revenues. Trading in the company shares was temporarily suspended on the London Stock Exchange after the firm issued an unscheduled trading update. By the close, shares had paired losses slightly, but were still down 28%. Doc Martens said it expects its wholesale revenue in the U.S. in 2025 to be down by double digits year on year, given that its order book for autumn and winter, which represents half of the company's wholesale proceeds in the region, is, quote, significantly, end quote, down. That means America's broke. The business assumes revenues in 2025 will decline by single-digit percentages year on year, citing an inability to offset next year inflation amid no further intentions to increase prices. Quote, we have built an operating cost base in anticipation of a larger business. However, with revenues weaker, we are currently seeing significant deleverage through to earnings, end quote. This is CEO Kenny Wilson, who will step down in March 2025 because it's over. Yeah, under his tutelage or his guidance, whether it's due to the market or not, man, it's all bad if your stock gets halted on the stock exchange. Bitcoin briefly drops below 62,000 as economic and geopolitical pressures loom. This is according to CNBC. I'm going to tell you right now, the big money, the smart big money is getting out of Bitcoin. Some people don't know that's happening. Some people may not recognize it. Some people not even want to share it. I'm just going to let y'all know. And then I read a report that Satoshi Nakamoto, the alleged creator of Bitcoin, a bunch of coins moved out of his wallet that hasn't had movement in over a decade, players. So holler at that. CNN Business, California just hiked minimum wage for fast food workers. Some restaurants are replacing them with kiosks. You think this might not be part of the plan? As if on cue, it raised a familiar refrain that those workers will be replaced by technology such as self-service kiosks. That's likely to happen, where business who haven't yet done so will look to technology to help offset higher labor costs, industry experts said. But the reality is that automation in the services industry is already on a roll, and the restaurant industry has been embracing it for a while now, even in states where minimum wage hasn't increased. Oh, don't worry about it. It's already here. It's already been happening. This isn't significant, and although many casual observers disagree, higher wages for fast food workers could actually help fast food owners. What? The employment level in fast food restaurants still hasn't reached pre-panorama levels. Quote, so wage increases are a way to attract workers into the environment, end quote. Dongovsky said. Businesses will already have to automate and use robotics to offset lack of labor to begin with. And then the wage increase to attract the labor that they do need. The new wage took effect in California on April 1st and applies to restaurant chains with more than 60 nationwide locations. The law also creates a fast food council, a first of its kind in the U.S., with the representatives from both the restaurant industry and workers who can increase their wage annually for the rest of the decade, in pace with inflation or up to 3.5%, whichever is higher. This council can also recommend standards for fast food worker safety, as well as work with existing state agencies to investigate issues like wage theft. I'm gonna let y'all know. Are y'all letting the robot give you the food and cook your food and then give it to you? You know what I'm saying? Whatever happened to, this food was cooked with love. I'm gonna let you know. I don't really do fast food. That's not my dance. I'm gonna tell you this. If you got a restaurant and I come in your restaurant and I inquire and I learn that your restaurant has robots cooking the food, I'm just gonna let you know I'm not doing that dance. Not doing that dance. Not happening. CNN Business, some H&R Block customers faced hours of outages on tax day, family. Listen, CyberWars escalate. They're escalating. Some H&R Block customers who waited until the last day to file their taxes faced frustrating outages that began Sunday night, according to the company and Down Detector. The outage was resolved by Monday afternoon. The tax preparer support account posted on X, formerly known as Twitter, Down Detector, which relies on self-submitted reports to track telecommunication and internet disruptions, reported the problem began around 9 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. At its peak, there were almost 1,700 outage reports. The outage came at an inconvenient time for taxpayers, as Monday at 11:59 p.m. is the deadline to file for 2023. The IRS had expected tens of millions more returns to be filed in the last few days, and many tax filers rely on online services such as H&R Block. They got TurboTax too. The bad gateway error prevented some desktop software users from filing their returns, H&R Block said. Most self-filing customers use the company's website, which was not affected by the outage. H&R Block advised customers to either file again or print, file, and mail the form to the IRS, but that frustrated some customers on social media who said they rely on e-filing for the convenience over mailing. They're not going to tell you this was a cyber attack. How come their software was not working on the day it needs to be working? Disruptive cyber attacks. These are happening. And just so you know, open source groups say more software projects may have been targeted for sabotage. This is out of Reuters. The recent attempt by an unknown actor to sabotage a widely used software program may have been one of several attempts to subvert key pieces of digital infrastructure across the internet. Two open source groups said in an alert published yesterday. In a joint statement, the Open Source Security Foundation and the OpenJS Foundation said the attempt to insert a secret backdoor into the XZ Utils, a little-known program that is baked into Linux operating systems across the world, quote, may not be an isolated incident, end quote. They said at least 3 different JavaScript projects were targeted by unnamed individuals demanding suspicious updates or asking to be made maintainers of the targeted software. The JavaScript programming language powers much of the modern web and sees intensive use across the world. Omkar Arastratnam, the Open Source Security Foundation's general manager, said that one of the targeted packages alone saw tens of millions of downloads a week. He declined to identify the JavaScript projects by name, saying he wanted to protect an ongoing investigation. Arastratnam also said that while it wasn't clear what the suspected malicious actors were hoping to do, quote, we stopped them before they got that far, end quote. He suspected they hoped to build backdoors into those projects as well. It's going down, y'all. I mean, listen, I'm convinced there is a cyber warfare going on between the West and the East. So that's, the two main players in the East is, I would say, would be China and Russia. The two main players in the West would be, I would say, United States and England, probably. Right? I don't know. The European Union, I guess, but England, is not in the Union anymore. And they're the only ones that were able to leave. So I would assume that they are the most powerful country over there. And it's going back and forth, from pipelines to trains. There's an investigation into that boat that hit the bridge over there. Innocent people lost their lives. You got hacking of medical software. There's a lot of stuff going on, y'all. Pay attention, be vigilant. We did an entire, I think it was 4 volumes, 4 separate magazines. Minimum, it was 3 separate magazines, 3 volumes on cybersecurity in the Foundation magazine. You can order back issues. Just email support@welcometothefoundation.com. If you're not signed up for the email list, please sign up for the email list. If you haven't received the email yet, don't worry about it. We're transitioning our email provider, email subscription, whatever, man. The company that sends all the emails to all y'all. Because there's a dedicated IP address that's required. There's a lot of technical stuff, whatever. But, stay informed. Definitely stay informed. But enjoy yourself. Prepare for the best, but prepare for the worst, but know the best is coming. And y'all enjoy yourself. Take care of yourself. Make sure you say 10 things that you are thankful for before you go to sleep tonight and every night. It is very important. And I will catch y'all tomorrow on the Foundation Show. We doing the show every Wednesday, y'all. Peace.